Welcome back. Welcome back, chat. Now it's a Friday, and I know I didn't have much things to do, so I decided why not just to take a stream and essentially showcase some Sliver C2. So here we go. In this stream, my main idea is to get myself better with Sliver because, to be honest, that's a framework I did not use that much in the past. I was always going through Mythic, Havoc, and some Ghost source ones like BRC4 on my actual work, so I was not that much engaged with Sliver, and now I want to get more used to it and essentially see how it behaves in a different environment. Now, this in the left, this is my Discord, which is the red teaming army, so you can join for live chat, so we can ask questions and things like that. And if you are not in the Discord, make sure to click the link into the description. Yeah, so this will be uploaded to YouTube. So yeah, let's go and draw was the idea of the stream. Now essentially here I have some notes which I have designed about Sliver and a bunch of commands which are used, so we have some kind of documentation. But now I want to do something else, and that something else is to map our environment so we know what we're dealing with and what's the current case and what do we want to achieve. So in that case, I'm gonna do and draw a very simple map. So I'm gonna do a Canva here. Let's call that Canva airtech.local. And a lot of guys may have seen that before, some may have not, but I need to draw that so we know what's the idea and what's the path we're gonna go for. Now let's start with the diagram. Right at the very beginning, this is my router or gateway. Now this router or gateway, of course, everything is connected to it by one form of another or another. And now on the one hand side from the router via the Wi-Fi is my PC, my Ubuntu PC or Ubuntu laptop, sorry. Now on this Ubuntu laptop we have a Kali VM as a virtual machine. So here we have a Kali VM. Now of course we have our IP addresses directly from the router via DHCP, and my current one is, I believe, yeah, 141. So that's our IP. This is super important. I mean, networking, guys, is not to be underestimated. So pay close attention here. Now this is my laptop, right? The machine I'm streaming now. This is the Kali VM. The Kali VM is essentially visible on the first page, on the first tab or desktop or whatever you want to call that. So this is going to be my Kali, and if you go to settings, you can see it's actually a breached machines. Now, what does it mean to be a breached? It means that whenever this machine is live and it gets an IP address, it's gonna try to mimic a real machine on the network. What that means is that the router is gonna treat this VM as a new one connected to it, and it's gonna assign IP address with the same subnet on it. So this would have something like 192.168 0 point something. That something I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's gonna be on the same subnet. So start that. Okay, and as you can see we have 0.185. So here we can say that 0.185. Now that's the easy part. Let's go a little bit more advanced now. Now on the right, I have my PC, which acts as my server. It's right next to me. So it's a PC that has pretty good hardware, I can say. And essentially this acts as a server because I can host many VMs on it. So here we have my PC, which has IP address of 192.168.0.250. Yeah, that's the one. And now from here, from this point on, everything here is virtualized as it is here. So that's a VM, and now everything there after the PC, it's actually again a VM. So essentially I have pretty much three hardware components. We have my router, which is hardware, my laptop and my PC, and then everything else is virtualized. And I also have an extra cloud server, but that's quite another topic. Now here we have our first machine, which is the pfSense firewall. And now since it's a firewall, it must have two IP addresses, and you can see that here. That's the pfSense, and you can see these two IP addresses. Now if you hey, hi Morten, if you think making videos like infrastructural setup is gonna be beneficial to you guys, make sure to hit that in the chat or into the Discord or into the comments, because that way I can know what content is best for you. So if you want to see more videos about infrastructural setup and how to set up your PFSense firewall and the whole network, just DM me or paste it in the chat right here. So on this PC we have the first VM, which is the PFSense as mentioned. Now the PFSense, as other gateways, has two IP addresses because we want to mimic a real environment as possible, right? That's the main idea. And now here on the router, we again have two IP addresses, which of course I'm not going to disclose because the one is my external IP and the one is my local IP, which is used for the local resolution of these machines. Using the same thing, for example, the external is going to be 123.x.x.x, and the local one is going to be 192.168.0.1. And here the router, as mentioned, because it's a gateway, has two interfaces, and thus it has two IP addresses. Now it uses this IP address to connect with external servers like Google, like Twitch, like YouTube and things like that. And it uses the local IP address interface to communicate with all the machines inside my private network. And now here we want to achieve the same. Imagine that this file here is going to be exactly on this point, on the router. And below that we're going to need to have another network on its own. So that's why this PFSense firewall needs to have again two IP addresses. So that's going to be again firewall, and it's going to have external. That's going to be 192.168.0. What was it? 250? Yeah, because that's 199. Sorry. Yeah. And then it has a local IP, which is 172.60.60.60. Now here's the important part, and I want you to pay much attention here. Now here, the external IP of the firewall, which is, as you can see from here, 192.168.0.250, is external for the network. That I have my VM, my Ubuntu laptop, and my PC. So to the firewall, my Kali VM, because it's bridged for the router and they are on the same network, is gonna share the same subnet. So the subnet for the Kali and the external subnet for the firewall is gonna be the same, and thus firewall is gonna count this machine as external. Now from here, I can only access the firewall. I will not be able to access anything under the firewall. So we are completely mimicking a real life network, which we can then use to attack with Sliver and try to do some tunneling, because I'm quite interested into how the tunnel is gonna behave using the Sliver client. What do you think about this new TryHackMe PT1 certified? I don't know. To be honest, I cannot say anything. I didn't research it. Nice setup, is that the new Ubuntu? Yeah, that's the new one. Oh, it's not, it's 24.4. But I just customized it, so appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, so moving on. Now from here, we have a bunch of machines down below, which again have just the local IP address over the local subnet for the firewall, completely mimicking that for my router. So here we have our DC01, for example. DC01. We have our client 01, and essentially what else we have. That's it for now. We're not gonna do anything more complicated, so that's it for now. So this has the IP of 172.60.60.50, and that has the IP address of 172.60.60.130, I believe. I'm not sure because it's a DHCP. So this gets an IP address to the domain controller and to the client 01. Now this thing forms our internal network, which we're gonna call lsec.local because we also have a domain there. Now to be better, I can make that colorized, so we can do green maybe, or yellow. So let's do green. No, orange is fine. Orange is fine. And I can place that right on the edge or at the middle for the firewall. Why? Because part of the firewall is external, one of the interface is external based. However, another interface is local for these machines, and that's why I place LSEC.local at the very middle. Now, in real case scenario, we need to have something like a DMZ, demilitarized zone. We need to have more than one firewall. But with my resources, that's what I made up. And that's what I made. Okay. So from here, if we have a VM as we do now, we cannot directly access that. Right, we cannot. That's not possible. Because there's no network path to it. Right? We're not on the same subnet. This is an internal network. The only two ways we can pretty much do anything is by achieving one client-side attack or two server-side attack. So we need to first maybe scan exposed systems on the firewall, and the firewall is actually, most of the time, is actually opening specific ports like a web port or FTP port and things like that. So we can scan the firewall to see the exposed services, or we can directly deliver some kind of a payload for the client via, let's say, phishing, and then if the client executes, then the connection can come back. Because here, as mentioned, we don't have a direct access from there, but usually in real life scenarios, firewall allows outbound connection. So if I were to use the client to connect to Google or anything else, firewall is fine for reverse communication. So communication originating from the inside out, but not from outside within. So essentially that's my two options: server-side attack to scan the infrastructure, see the exposed ports on the firewall and attack them. And the option number two is to essentially deliver via client-side attack the payload on the client so it can execute and I can get the reverse callback. Now we can do both if we have time, but let's just first start with the second, because the main idea is to showcase Sliver, how it works, and that's the main point, not to do server-side attacks. Yeah, so on this Kali we have Sliver. That's gonna be our case. So to start Sliver, you can just do Sliver, that's it. Now if you have this strange localhost issue, you have to do a sudo service sliver and start. And beside that, you can do status to see if it's running successfully. And if that's the case, I can do now Sliver again, and boom, I'm in. Now this is the framework. There is even a command VM package for connecting to Sliver. I'm not sure how good that works, but you may try that on your own. But essentially, that's the Sliver console. Now at first, I thought the syntax was not that good, but you can get used to it pretty fast, because with help is your biggest ally. That's it. So from here you can manage operators, you can go into multiplayer mode, and many people can connect to the same Sliver server, but essentially what we want is as the same as other C2 framework. Now from here I'm gonna draw a simple graph. Now from there we have Sliver, and here we need pretty much two things. We need in Mythic that's called C2 profile. I think we can call that the same thing here. So C2 profile. Essentially that is how the Sliver is gonna listen for connection, and then we have the payloads which can engage and connect over the C2 profiles. On the next hand side we have, of course, C2 payloads. That's it. Now on the payload, I don't think we have much customizability because we don't have many choices for payloads, because Sliver has one only, I think. But we're gonna see that now. So that's the main plan. We're gonna set up a C2 profile, and then we can set up a payload and send it over and see how evasive it is, how it works, and what can we do. Okay, now to set up a profile, I think it's super simple. Now I can say that you can directly start your listeners without needing to start a profile, but as best practices, it's always good to generate your profile and then use that to set up your listener ports, having the same config all the time. So I can do help profiles, and then I have a bunch of options. I can generate implant or payload for a specific profile. I can do new profile, and I can remove a profile. And by doing profiles, you can see the one I currently have, which we can remove by doing profiles, remove, and by specifying the name, HTTPS. In that case, I can simply remove it, and there it is. If we do profiles, then we don't have anything. Now I can do profiles and then new, and now from here I can do minus minus help. There it is, and here we have all the options we're gonna need. Now these options are important because when you set them up, each payload you're gonna generate is gonna inherit these options which are here. So that's super important. Now as the architecture, obviously we want to have AMD64, I think it was the name. Yeah, AMD64. We want to have that because we're going to use the 64-bit payload. Then we don't want the debug features. We don't want DNS connection string because we're going to use HTTPS or MTLS. Enable evasion features. I'm not sure what that is, but we can enable that. -E. Then we can do format is gonna be either exe, a DLL, or a service exe and a shellcode. So that's pretty nice because you can use the shellcode to pack it with some packers, like Shadowburn. So thanks for my patrons and to making Shadowburn possible. So you can do multiple choices, but let's stick to exe now. So format's gonna be exe. Then let's see, we have I want to do it over MTLS, so that's like a secure TLS connection. We can do both. We can do HTTP and we can also do via the MTLS. There's also a named pipe, which is something super important, super OP as far as I read about it. The default OS is gonna be Windows. Yep. We're gonna reconnect the default value. Strategy is gonna be default. Okay, I think that's fine. So now the last thing we need to specify is the MTLS. So minus M, and here we need to specify with quotes MTLS as a protocol, and then our IP 192.168.0.185 and any port, but let's do just for testing purposes 4444. Of course, don't do that on real engagement, just for testing purposes. Okay, so run that, and we need to specify the profile name. Now here we can specify the name as last, so new, all the flags, the name. So name can be MTLS and session. Now, why session? Because by default, when you generate a profile, the profile is gonna be used for a session and not a beacon. Now the beacon is like when you, let's say, let's do it like that. I can do new graph. We can do, let's say, C2, and then here we have the victim. Oops. And now the beacon is when there is a interval between callbacks, and for example, each 5 minutes the victim goes like, hey, is there a command? It reads from a get or post request, and if there's a command, executes and then gives the output. If there is no command, no output is given, and the beacon waits until 5 minutes, then repeats the same process. So here we have one directional connection only from the victim to the C2, where from on each interval it can be randomized, it should be. The victim asks for commands and tries to execute the commands and gives the output. If there's no command, sleeps, and in 5 minutes do the same. Whereas the session is like a direct connection between two machines. So they communicate in runtime, and each time the victim sends something, the C2 automatically can read that, and when the C2 does something, the victim can automatically at the same time read what the C2 says. So it's like a session active talking between two persons, whereas the beacon is like one person asking for questions. You can think of it like that. So if you don't specify beacon as a command or an option, then you're gonna by default have a session, which to me doesn't make sense because from beacon you can engage a session. So let's do just MTLS and specify a beacon here. So let's do it new and then do beacon. Run that, and there it is. So by doing profiles, there it is your profile. Now, as soon as we generate a payload, we can simply generate one by specifying the profile, and it's gonna have the same settings. So apologize for that. What do you think so far, guys? Best viewer on. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. Yeah. How to ban that? Can I? Yeah, I think that's fine. Boom. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now we're back. Okay, so let's generate a payload, shall we? So from there we can simply do profiles, profiles, generate, and specify the name by doing tab. It's gonna auto-complete the name. So for that, and there it is. See how easy it is to generate a payload like that. If you don't specify profiles, then you would need to pass these settings all the times, like evasion, architecture, the MTLS connection, and so on. So my best advice is stick to profiles as much as possible. Yeah, okay. So there it is. I pretty much enjoy the naming convention of Sliver. You have technical asterisk.exe, which sounds badass. I think it sounds super badass. But now we cannot simply deliver it because we don't have where to accept the connection. So if you do jobs, you can see that there's no active jobs and we need to create one, which means to set up a listener. So if you do help, essentially everything is here, and the help menu can do pretty nice job of actually explaining how to use the C2 framework. Essentially, if I run the MTLS command, you can see that it's gonna start the MTLS listener. So all I can do is say MTLS and specify the same endpoint we used for the profile generation. So MTLS with quotes, I think it's better with quotes. So do it like that. Okay, maybe remove the quotes. Okay, help MTLS. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. So you have to do MTLS minus lhost to be that. Then minus port to be for in that case, and that's it. So now if you do jobs, now you can see that we can accept connection. Now usually Sliver has also staging profiles. You can set up staging directly into Sliver C2, similar to how Metasploit or Meterpreter uses it. So when you use a stage Meterpreter payload, it automatically sets up the staging server and so on. So Sliver can do the same, which is super nice. Now also if you do implants, you can see all the implants which are built, and I think you can also download it from here, but I'm not sure. Oh, it's just listing, so sorry, my bad. Okay, so from there we've generated our payload. It's in the desktop, I believe. No, it's here. Yeah, it's technical asterisk.exe. So what I can do is set up a Python 3 minus m HTTP server. Let's do port 8000 and maybe just right off the bat deliver it. Now, as mentioned, the idea here is not to do some kind of complicated techniques, but to showcase Sliver C2, how does it work, and what can we do with it. So now, I think we have Defender running. I think we do. So on the settings, manage settings, yeah, we have. Everything else is disabled, but runtime protection is on. So let's see what can happen now. 185, 8000. There it is. Now there it is, technical asterisk. I kind of enjoy this name. Sounds so badass. Technical asterisk. Asterisk. Technical asterisk. Nice. Okay, so click that, download it, and keep. Now again, keep anyway, and it's detected. So I was expecting that, to be honest, because Sliver is a known framework, and it's usually it's normal that the default payload is detected by any IB, because if the initial payload is not detected, that means that you would not need any maldev skills to make it work, which is gonna cause a lot of chaos. So it's good that actually Defender detects it and it's actually expected. So I can for now turn that to off, and again download technical asterisk. Yeah, you get the idea. Keep anyway, and now there it is. Now I enjoy running things from the command line because that I can see if there's any output or if anything goes wrong. So cd into downloads and then do again run that. Now get back to the Kali and we have a beacon. Now again, as mentioned, if there is no beacon option on the profile, you're gonna generate a payload which is gonna directly give you a session. So here you can see beacons, or if there's a session, you can simply do that with sessions. They are quite different, and with different menus you can access them. So here we have our old beacon, which is dead, obviously. So what we can do is do beacons remove and maybe specify the ID. Beacons remove. Yeah, you can just do it like that interactively. Remove this one, then do beacons, and there it is. Now we can use that, and now the prompt changed, and now we can use the beacons from the RC2 right now. Yeah. Oh. Now with help we can, that's all the commands we have for the beacon itself. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not sure if you can get through all of them, but my idea is to see for mainly three things. First is of course assembly execution. Then we have BOF support, and then we have PowerShell, which are the three, I think, C2 building blocks. Because if you can run these things, you can pretty much run anything. Yeah. Okay. So this is the generic options where we have general options like job controls, beacon controls, suits, and things like that. So that's not what we need. Then Sliver on Windows. Uh, okay, we have directly impersonate user, we have get system, get prefs, execute assembly. We can do backdoor, we can do dealer hijack directory. We can process inject, we can do ps exec. Okay. We can touch the registry. We can reverse to self. Okay, if the token is dead. We can do run as, that's good, and spawn DLL. Okay. So on the Sliver beacon we can do these things. So cat, cd, chown, download, execute shellcode, which is nice. We can try that. Manage extensions, ifconfig, interactive. That's gonna cause a session. So if you do interactive, yeah, this is gonna create a session. So keep that in mind. We have ls, execute msf payload. Okay, perfect. Netstat, port forward. That's the one I wanna test. I think we need to do session. Oh no, that not that. The tunnel, not that. Sorry. We have proc dump. We have ps. And we have a lot of things. But I want to see how to configure the payload, because now if you do beacons, you can see that the check-in is like a minute. So I think we can modify that. Do you have any idea from where? Info maybe? Okay. Yeah, the interval is 1 minute and the jitter is 30 seconds. So it's quite a lot for testing. Not that. I have no clue. Let's see. Environment. And we can even host things. Nice. Armory. Maybe set? Did they have a settings? Maybe. Show responded. Oh no, that's not what I want. No. Oh, there it is. There's the environment variable to Windows. But that's not what I looked for. Here, beacons. Let's try to find info on the web. I think that's gonna be beneficial. Now also I have to mention that Sliver has done a nice job to make a good documentation. So if you do Sliver C2, then you can go to their website.sh and we have good documentation. So here I think we can find that. So, is it config? No. Oh, CH times, maybe. Nah, not that. Okay, so let's do jitter maybe. Because where is the jitter, I think the callback can be on the same page. Okay, where is the jitter? Okay. Task username. Okay, I have no clue, guys. Do you have any idea how to set that up? Let me try jitter. No. Let's try not back. Beacons. Beacons. I don't want to keep it. No, that's not an option. Am I blind or I'm not seeing the option? These are all Windows commands. Yeah, all Windows tasks. We don't need that. That's also specific things for Windows, like psexec. That's also something we're not gonna use. Then we have what do we have? Stage listener settings. Okay. No, we already did that. Nah, that's not it. Sessions, not that. That sounds badass, but didn't use it before. Okay, I don't have any idea. I don't see a single option that can help me change my config. Maybe that does it. I don't think it have it. Let's try to find the docs. Okay. Okay. Maybe we're gonna search for big. Maybe the thing can be there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's the session. We don't need session now. It's not that. We don't need that. I really don't get it. Oh, don't tell me. Let me ask ChatGPT about it. Can I, how to say that? Can I change the beacons jitter callback in Sliver C2? Short explain. Yeah, that should be fine. Oh, is that how it is? Why, you mean I can say beacon? Let's do beacon one. That? Nah. It's not that, ChatGPT. Not that. Even though it works, so even it looks legit. Looks legit. What about callback? We don't have that thing. Callback. We don't have such thing. Maybe I need to be here. Become that. Nope. Oh. Oh, that's the timeout. I think that's not the callback. I think that's the timeout. Maybe beacons. That minus t and 2. No, it's not that. Let me try to search the doc more. If that is missing, it'd be super bad. I'm not gonna be happy with it. But I'm sure it must be somewhere. It must be somewhere. It's so advanced into framework. There's no way they don't have such kind of a feature. Maybe see that. Yeah. That's it. Oh, maybe I'm stupid. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop with that task because I don't seem to find a way now, and I'm gonna know that for the next part because it's gonna be next part for sure. Now let's continue with something else. Now if I go help, let's spawn a session. Like let's do use, then use that, and do interactive, so we can do more stuff and not wait a minute each time. Okay, so background sessions. We have to wait a minute and the session should appear here. I think in theory. Yeah. So right now, if we go back to the graph, the connection actually comes this way. So from the client to here, from the firewall to there, essentially. Yeah. Okay, there it is. There it is the session. Now use. And here we can choose between the session and the beacon, run that, and there it is. Now from here we can do help. And we can do all these things right now in the moment. And if you do have config, we have the direct output. Okay, perfect. Now we have a lot of options, and I can say that Sliver C2 is a really advanced framework. Or maybe I'm just stupid to not being able to find the option, but you guys can correct me in the chat. So oh, okay. So you mean if I do that? What did you do? No, I mean that's fine, but what happens if I want to use in runtime to change it? Use the beacon command inside the active session. Beacon 60s 30. Are you sure? Or I'm doing something stupid? Maybe I need to be in the session? Uh, yeah, I don't think that works. Oh. Okay, beacon. There's no beacon command. Yeah, there's no beacon command. Command not found. It's beacons. Yeah. There's no command like that. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, okay, so let's do use, switch to the session, and now here, I want to test the assembly, so let's do Rubies this time. Now I'm gonna do cd op sharp collection. Do I have it? No, so I need to download it. Go to sharp collection, here, clone, and do sudo git clone and paste. We have nice assembly bundle there. Do we have sleep? We have sleep. We use the beacon. Sleep? No, we don't. There is no sleep command. I went through all these commands and was not able to find anything related to sleep, config, set, anything. I don't know. Sleep? No, here is no logic. Okay, now we have the sharp collection, so let's try to execute assembly. Now let's do help. Execute assembly. Let's see how that works. So we can do it like that. Here we have flags, file path, arguments. So as a flags, we have this. As file path is of course obvious, and then argument of the assembly. Now we have a lot of nice flags. We have -n for Ramsey bypass. Good. We have app domain. Is that domain sandbox? App domain name to create .NET assembly. Oh yeah, that's a custom domain for the .NET itself. Custom app domain. Okay, if we need one. Architecture is obvious. We can specify the class. Okay, we can do ETW bypass, which is nice. Only supported when with in process. Okay, so in process is runs in the current Sliver process. Okay, then save output as wood. That's nice. Minus name of the name to assign the wood PPID pro. That's a PPID spoofing. No, it's not. Okay. 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 So it should be something like execute assembly. Then we have the flags, which I want times bypass. I want ETW bypass. I want in process because ETW is supported there. Let's save that as root to see how that works. And do now the file path, which is in my case is OPT. And I don't have file autocomplete. That's so bad. Come on, Sliver. You did so many good things. You have so many good things, but not tap out complete? Or maybe I need root for that, because I'm not root. I don't want to be fast to blame Seaver. It's good framework. Then go to maybe Sharp collection, cd.net 4.5 x64. Okay, and now here we can do Rubius. So that's the path. Oh, come on. Okay, and then rubius.exe. Let's do it like that for now. And we have Rubius execute successfully. Directive in the session, which is nice. Can I do triage? There it is. It works like a butter. And it's so fast. I have to admit the speed on that, guys. See. Boom. Directly. Immediate output. So I have to admit it's super fast. So that works nice. The execute assembly part is good. Now, can I execute however PowerShell? I think no. I think the only way to execute a PowerShell can be via DLL execution, assembly execution, because you can essentially call PowerShell from that point. But you need to customize that, customize the binary. You can, yeah. I don't think there's a module for PowerShell. I don't think there is. But can we do shell? If we do shell, yeah, I know it's a yeah. Don't worry. Then we can do PowerShell. Yeah, but that's not what I wanted because this spawned a new process. Yeah, PPID. Let's see that PPID. Let's see what it is. Do we have process hacker? Nah. Why do you need that TLSec? Details, or actually do get process ID and paste, which paste doesn't work. Then 132, and that's PowerShell. Yeah, so it's a new one that's been spawned. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's not OPSEC safe as they mentioned, but is that the only way to run PowerShell? Is that the only way to run PowerShell? And now I broke my session. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I can run shell, but I don't think that is the case here. Can I do a screenshot? Okay, nice. There it is. Nice. Screenshot works good. Nice, okay. But I don't think there's a way to run PowerShell. Let me see the docs. Yeah, that's the only keyword. So I think they decided to go more for the evasion part, because usually PowerShell is not considered evasive things to do. So I think the creators of the Sliver decided to not include that on purpose, because that would maybe do the payload and the beacon to be less evasive. So now if you want to execute specific PowerShell things, because sometimes you need to, I know you can sometimes do sharp count or other PowerShell stuff. I know that sometimes is needed, but I think you can do it via the shell, or if you do a custom assembly like that, or a custom program that calls the PowerShell. So there's no built-in integration, but I don't think it's needed that much, because we can do assemblies and BOFs, which BOFs are much more evasive than all the PowerShell scripts and so on. So yeah, let me try now to set up a tunnel, shall we? We want SOX 5. That's the main idea. Yeah, maybe. I've installed that yesterday, so maybe it's the newest one. Why? Why? I mean, they were using that before and now they don't? Whoa. Okay, I don't get that, to be honest. Okay, that was strange to me. But now, I mean, the lack of PowerShell is not that big of a deal. I mean, I can accept that because at the end, we have assemblies and BOFs, so that's super fine. Let me try to execute the BOF, right? I think BOF should be also fine. BOF. BOF in the COF support, that's it. So BOF support is provided via the COF folder extension. You need to install it to run pretty much any BOF. However, the COF folder will be installed automatically if you install both extensions from the Armory. Oh, there's an Armory which can be used for installing things. It's a okay, that's badass. Guys, we have packet manager inside the C2 itself. Whoa. We have a packet manager inside the C2 itself. Can I see all the packages? Where are all the packages that I can install? Can I do help Armory? And Armory search? And do, well, now dump? There it is. Certify? There it is. Oh, that's so badass. Now you mean to tell me that I can run Rubius? Yeah, there it is. Sliver third-party macros. That's it. Rubius. Boom. There it is. That's so badass. Nice. But where I can see all the packages, I want to see what's included in this Armory thing. Okay. Okay, there it is. Capability layup, Rubius, seatbelt, certify, sharp SMB exec. What's that by? We want to try that. We want to try that directly. That's gonna be so OP. I'm gonna install that right off the bat. So do I use the name or the command name? I don't know. Armory search and that. Maybe dash. Maybe sharp. Maybe SMB. There's a beauty sharp. Oh. SQ Recon, Sharp Labs. It was this moment that I started to like Sliver so much. COF folder, there it is. Now dump. Damn. These are extensions, but what are these? Okay. BOF, let me try BOF. Search BOF. That's strange. Can I go background and do Armory? Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Okay. Easy way. Easy, guys. Okay. We have sharp persist, which is nice thing for persistence. I've already done a video on it. Sharp SCCM, sharp segdump. That's why you don't need PowerShell, because they included everything as a module. Oh. Okay, I have to apologize for my past words. Now I see why you didn't include PowerShell, because this is way more evasive than PowerShell, and you don't need to. There's a shard count, SMB exec, WMI exec, and everything that we need. So they rather stick on assemblies and BOFs rather than PowerShells, which is completely fine. Let's see how this works. I want to try sharp SMB exec. So Armory, what was it? Help. Uh, Armory, install, and that. And then use and do station and then do help. There is sharp SMB exec. Is there a help menu for it? Ah, that's so nice. At the end, I think it's an execute assembly submodule. I think that's the case because all these things, most of them are just assemblies. So at the end, I think it's going down to execute assembly part, but making them so easy accessible is so nice. Yeah, good job, Bishop Fox. Good job on making that. These modules, I enjoy them so much. That's why you don't have PowerShell. So, okay, let's do the same thing. Sharp SMB exec. Oops. Sharp SMB exec. Let's do flags and arguments. Okay, so let's do. What's the arguments for that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can I do password beside hash? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But let me try with the hash. I think that's gonna be a fun exercise. Let me dump my hashes now. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I know about that. Don't worry. Okay. Now let's do partial. Okay. Mm-hmm. What was the? I forgot it. Oh yeah. No, it was not that. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay. Now let's get the NTLM hash. That's the k2.user. That's the NTLM. So in our case, we would need something like let me open an editor. We would need something like SMB exec hash, and I don't know if quotes are needed. Username is gonna be k2.that. Then domain is gonna be eosec.local. Then target is gonna be dco1 eosec. Or just dco1. I think it should be fine. And command is gonna be, who knows, ipconfig. Let's do it like that. Okay, so let's copy these arguments. Let's go here. Let's keep this for now because we don't need them, but use the arguments. So here, no flags, and do that. Yeah, this can get all the modules, but I do not want to get them, but to see them. So the idea was to check the modules and not to just install them and then don't know what to do with them. I rather observe them one by one to see, aha, they have that and that and that. So something went wrong with dco1. Maybe try dco1.eosec.local, or maybe I can even try with IP instead of a DNS. Let's see how that goes. Is it blind command execution because we have service not deleted? Let me try something else. Instead of ipconfig, we can try something like clever.exe. Do we have that? Yeah, we do. So we can try something like clever.exe, http 192.168.0.1.185, port to be 8000. Yeah, let's run it like that. So here I can do Python 3, same http server 8000, run that, boom. Why the output is so messed up? I don't know what happened, but or was it because I didn't log into the server and it was not started initially? I don't know. Let's see if we can get a call back. 185, port 8000. That should be fine. Maybe try with IP. So instead of the DC, try 172, 60, 60, 50. And let's see the services there. The service is not created. At least I don't see it. No. Nope. No, it's not there. Yeah, so I don't think that works good. Let me try with Armory, and then try with the not Rubius. Actually, I don't need that anymore. Windows Pivot also looks nice. Jump WMI exec. Damn, these extensions they are a game changer. We can do pretty much anything inside a C2. Look at that. Analyze MSS queries. Go for service creations, attack SCCM, dump credentials, built-in mimikatz. Can we try that? Jump WMI exec. That's what I want to try. That's OP. Inject energy bypass, handle cats, the cough water of course. Damn. Okay. Can I do jump WMI exec now? Okay, and now we have now that I think it's a BOP because we have custom template for arguments. So we can do jump WMI exec 172.60.60.50. Then the command is gonna be, let's try who am I. Domain lsec.local, username to be k2zat, password to be for the Lich King. Yeah, don't blame me, I'm just a huge WoW fan. I think that's fine. Who might succeeded? But I think it's a blind execution. So can we do instead of who am I, can we do things like again, yeah, do it like that. Here can we do things like Firewall.exe, http 192.160, oh yeah, 0.185. And again, this can be in quotes. There it is. There it is. That's super fast and nice. Damn. We now have built-in lateral movement modules. Wow, I'm yet to explore that, guys. What about jump PS exec? I think it has the same syntax. I think. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, almost the same. So we have what was that now? Jump PS exec flags? No flag. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, we don't need any flags. Then host again 172.60.60.50. Then service name test executable local path to service executable. So we can do a new one with Sliver. We can do things like that. So Sliver there. Oh, I think Kali joined the game, but I was not kicked. I think. Yeah, okay, I'm fine. So we can do things like generate, and then generate beacon, then MTLS and specify the options manually. So MTLS 192.168.0.185, then do 444, then do beacon is done. Format is gonna be service, I believe. So minus F is gonna be, yeah, service. Okay, run that. The MTLS is fine, and then format as a service. And now we can get the full path and paste it there, and we should get a new session or beacon right off the bat. Yeah. Come on. Okay, there it is. Home Kali, this one there. So make a full screen. Let's just do jump PS exec first or help. Like that. And now use that settings. So here this is gonna be the service, and then DCO1, select that local. See, we have to upload that. Let's try C, and maybe my service.exe, why not? Run that. There it is. Oh yeah, use, there it is, beacon from DCO1 as a system. We can try now interactive. We can try, what was that? Armory install Mimikatz. Let's dump something now. Damn, that's so OP. Okay, I started to like Sliver so much. That's so badass. Then do help Mimikatz. Then do Mimikatz and direct the arguments. So secure RSA. We'll go on passwords. Boom. Let's wait a minute now. Is it gonna execute the two tasks at once? Because here I instantiated interactive. That's the first tasks. Yeah, we need to first do interactive session and then dump credentials. I don't know. Only caravan. The names are so funny, to be honest. I don't think now it's dead. Oh, there it is. Okay, secure the same module not found. Oh, why? Can I do? Is there a session now? Yeah, it is. So let's use the session because it's faster. So that's the session for the DC. Yeah, so we can try Mimikatz now and do Mimikatz privilege debug. Maybe we don't need quotes for that. Yeah, secure RSA logon passwords. Nope. Maybe try quotes like that. Or maybe like that. Nope. Key import. Who am I? I'm a system. I have all the privileges. Okay, so privilege debug. Maybe it has the mythic strange syntax. In mythic you have to do that, escape the quotes themselves like that. Boom. No, it's not that. Key import. Let me try. Never say dump when Sam. Okay, that works. That worked. Okay, so ah. Hmm. Can I do DC sync? I mean, I'm on the DC, right? Never say them. DC sync user to that or J Smith. There it is. Oh, nice. Okay, easy peasy. The thing I like the most, that to be honest, the thing I like the most is that they included all the packages that you usually need in their packet manager. So you can track updates. Maybe they are obfuscated, I'm not sure yet. But essentially you don't need to download and use anything else. For instance, with Mythic or Havoc or anything else, you need to download the assembly, maybe obfuscate it and run it. Of course, if you want to obfuscate it, you can do the same here with execute assembly. But you have all the things just in the Armory. You don't need to download them, you don't need to install them. So really a good job to the Bishop Fox, a really good job to the Sliver development team. However, I still think that PowerShell is gonna be nice, and I still think that if someone can tell me where I can config the beacon timeout, that can be even better. I don't find it. I don't know why. I'm gonna research more in the docs when this video ends, but for now I don't know. So this was the first part because I had to go now. I wanna stream more, but I have some work to do. So appreciate your time being here, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the video comments or in Discord or anything anywhere else. I don't mind. So I'm gonna do a second version of that video where we can do more intense stuff like tunnels, combining that with lateral movement. But I think that was very useful to get to know the structure of the Sliver C2 and essentially to see how it works. And that packet manager really intrigued me, to be honest. I love it. Yeah. So thank you so much. Appreciate it, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye bye, and have a nice one. See ya.